This is India's #1 news network, and you're watching News 9. English news as it should be.
Hello, good evening. You're watching In Your Interest with me, Shweta Kothari. We continue to throw the spotlight on the Unnao rape horror. And tonight, the spotlight is not just on a convicted rapist getting relief, it's on the system itself. A system where even country's premier investigating agency, the CBI, now stands under a cloud. The question tonight is not only how Kuldeep Singh Sengar secured bail, but the bigger question is this: how did the system fail a young woman from Unnao so completely that even a CBI probe could not withstand judicial scrutiny? A Delhi trial court has recorded that CBI did not conduct a fair investigation in the Unnao rape case. The court observed that the agency's conduct caused serious prejudice to the survivor and her family. The investigation has been faulty from the start, tilted heavily in the favor of accused. And these are not just casual remarks, they go to the heart of institutional credibility in India. And despite a father dying in custody, despite survivor surviving a deadly crash, and despite repeated threats, the system has once again tilted in favor of the powerful. On 23rd of December 2025, which is about 2 days ago, the Delhi High Court suspended the life sentence of expelled BJP MLA Kuldeep Singh Sengar in the 2017 Unnao rape case and granted him conditional bail under Section 389 of the CRPC. The court held that the aggravated charge under Section 5C of the POCSO Act does not apply, reasoning that an MLA does not fall within the definition of a public servant under the Act. As a result, only Section 3, which deals with basic penetrative sexual assault, was held applicable. The bench noted that Sengar has already spent over 7 years in custody, exceeding the minimum sentence under that provision. And continuing his incarceration, the court said, would violate Article 21, which is right to personal liberty. The court also rejected survivors' arguments that he must remain in jail due to threat perception, stating that a person cannot be kept incarcerated merely because security agencies may fail to protect a victim. Now, legally, this means his life sentence stands suspended, but he still remains in jail because he's also serving a separate 10-year sentence in the custodial death of survivor's father. And for the survivor, this is not a technical legal adjustment. It is another chapter in a long story of systemic failures. In 2017, as a minor, she went to Sengar's residence seeking work, and she was raped there. Days later, she was abducted, sedated, and gang raped. And when she approached the police, his name was missing from the FIR. In April 2018, her father was beaten inside a police station to a point where he died. And Sengar's associate were later arrested in the case. In 2019, while traveling to court in Raebareli, a truck rammed into survivor's car, killing 2 of her aunts. This happened shortly after she wrote to Chief Justice of India seeking protection. And now, the court itself has recorded CBI investigation was completely flawed. The court noted that the investigating agency's conduct had compromised the fairness of the probe, and yet despite these findings, the benefit of doubt has gone not to the survivor, but to the convict. And this is the core of the outrage today. In one of India's most closely watched rape cases, transferred out of UP, monitored by Supreme Court, handled by CBI, the system still failed to deliver a sense of justice. And if this is what happens in a case with national attention, judicial monitoring and media scrutiny, one must ask, what change does an ordinary and what chance does an ordinary survivor have? Joining us on the show, will be our guests. But before I go to the guests, I'm also given to understand our brave heart, the survivor of Unnao rape case, has also joined us. Let's quickly get her to talk first. She's been patiently waiting for justice for many years now, and she's joining us after that Delhi High Court verdict, which has cut short the sentence of the main convict here, Kuldeep Singh Sengar. I have to ask her, and let me quickly go to her first. Madam, thank you very much for speaking to us. हमें अपना समय देने के लिए बहुत-बहुत धन्यवाद. सबसे पहले ये जानना चाहूँगी आपसे कि आप ये दिल्ली हाई कोर्ट के वर्डिक्ट को कैसे देखते हैं? वर्डिक्ट के अगले ही दिन, इनफैक्ट उसी रात को आप जंतर मंतर गई, वहाँ से आपको निकाला गया. आज 2 दिन हो चुके हैं. कैसे देखते हैं आप दिल्ली हाई कोर्ट के वर्डिक्ट को?
क्योंकि ऐसे रेप के आरोपी को सजा रोकते हुए कैसे बेल हो सकती है, क्योंकि देश का ये पहला ऑर्डर है. आज तक मैंने ऐसा नहीं सुना कि रेप के आरोपी को सजा रोकते हुए उसको बेल दे दी जाएगी, जमानत दे दी जाएगी. मैंने दुनिया में नहीं सुना है.
जी, लेकिन सीबीआई का कहना है कि अब वो सुप्रीम कोर्ट जाएंगे. इनफैक्ट हमने डिटेल ऑर्डर पढ़ा और हमें ये भी बताया गया कि हाई कोर्ट ने अपने ऑर्डर में ट्रायल कोर्ट को कोट करते हुए कहा कि सीबीआई ने अपना काम नहीं किया. सीबीआई का अब ये कहना है कि वो सुप्रीम कोर्ट जाएंगे. क्या आप सैटिस्फाइड हैं सीबीआई के रिस्पॉन्स से?
सीबीआई उस टाइम सो रही थी, जब बहस हो रही थी, जब मेरे सर महमूद प्राचा जी बहस कर रहे थे, सो रही थी. लिखित में क्या होता, बहस करिए ना. हम भी बराबर गए हैं. मैं अपने बच्चे, नवजात बच्चे छोड़ के मैं कोर्ट केस देखी हूँ. 8 साल तक मैं 8 साल से लड़ रही हूँ. मैंने 23 में शादी किया, उसके बाद मेरे बच्चे हुए. मैं बच्चे अपनी विकलांग साल के बाद छोड़ के मैं अपना केस देखी हूँ. मैं जब खड़ी रहती थी, मैं बोलने की कोशिश करती थी जज साहब के सामने. जज साहब यही बोले, अगर आप बोलेंगी तो हम जेल भेज देंगे. अरे ठीक है, आपने उनको जमानत दिया तो हमें जेल भेज दो, ताकि हम जेल में तो सेफ रहेंगे, मेरे बच्चे तो सेफ रहेंगे, ताकि दुश्मन निकलेगा मुझे अपने हाथों से मारेगा तो नहीं. कानून के अंदर रहेंगे तो सेफ रहेंगे. लाइफ टाइम तक तो मुझे खतरा है ही, क्योंकि 5 किलोमीटर कोई बहुत ज़्यादा नहीं है. 5000 किलोमीटर भी बहुत ज़्यादा नहीं है. अगर इंसान को मारना है तो कहीं से भी मरवा सकता है.
बिल्कुल. आपको जाने दूंगी थोड़ी ही देर में, पर आपसे आखिरी सवाल पूछना चाहती हूँ कि कितना मुश्किल रहा है आपके लिए. पिछले कई सालों से इनफैक्ट आप लड़ रही हैं. मेंटली, फिजिकली आपके लिए बहुत डिफ़िकल्ट फेज़ रहा है. दिल्ली हाई कोर्ट का ऑर्डर आपके फेवर में नहीं है. कितना मुश्किल रहा है आपके लिए पिछले कुछ दिन का दौर?
उनके घर में तो खुशियाँ मनी हुई हैं, पटाखे लग रहे हैं, सब कुछ हो रहा है. लेकिन हमारे घर में परिवार से हमारे हस्बैंड से पूछे कितना वो डरे हुए हैं. उनको नौकरी से निकाल दिया गया, जहाँ जॉब करते थे. मेरे छोटे छोटे बच्चे हैं, अब हम कहाँ जाएंगे? खिलाने जिलाने वाला तो वही इंसान है. पिता भी नहीं रह गया, चाचा को भी जेल में कर रखा है. परिवार में कोई पढ़ा लिखा नहीं है. तो ऐसा तो मेरे साथ हुआ है, तो हमें तो न्याय चाहिए ना. गलत हुआ है हमारे साथ.
बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद आपका हमारे साथ जुड़ने के लिए. हम आशा करते हैं कि आपकी फ़ाइट, आपकी जंग जारी रहेगी और हम भी आपके साथ खड़े हुए हैं. इट्स अ स्टोरी दैट कंटिन्यूज टू रेजोनेट विद millions of people in this country. Joining me on the show is my colleague Brijesh Pandey. He is live with me here in the studio. Also with us is Rekha Agrawal, advocate for Supreme Court and a women's right activist. Ellen Rao, former DCP Delhi, and Barkat Rehan, political analyst as well as activist. Mayank Arora, advocate Supreme Court. Thank you very much all of you for taking time out. Let me quickly first bring in my colleague Brijesh Pandey. Brijesh, you heard the victim there. Completely giving up on the system. For years and years now she's been fighting. And what do we hear from the court? We hear from the court that on technical ground it cannot be called as an aggravated sexual assault. So therefore, those sections don't apply. He has already served the term that he was supposed to under minor offense, and now we can't hold him back.
See, the point is that if it was a Hindi movie, you would have watched the movie and then said that, that the director has taken a touch too much creative liberty. Such is the timeline of this particular case. Imagine she was raped. There was no police, UP police is not listening to her, no FIR being filed. She goes to CM Darbar, she attempts self-immolation. Allahabad High Court says that the police and administration is working in cahoots with the accused. She is not getting justice. Her father is arrested on fictional ground, assaulted and then beaten to death. Her car is hit by a truck. Then the situation comes to a level where the investigation and the hearing of the case is shifted to Delhi. And after that, there's what the judge did not understood was like the hyper-technicality. Yes, he's right. But the fact of the matter is that when he says that, based on the mere threat to the life of the victim, well, the same gentleman is already undergoing a sentence for killing of the father of the same victim. Now, I mean, it's beyond bizarre. That you have to come up with this kind of system, and I mean, she has become a symbol of everything that is wrong with our policing system and judicial system, irrespective of what people may try to defend and all. And Sengar is a system of what many people, I mean, Cicero quoted long back that law is like a cobweb. Small flies get caught in, but the bigger flies, they just go through it. I think it's a perfect example of it.
Mayank Arora, is Sengar a bigger fly who's managed to pass through because the court is so hell-bent on technicality today?
Well, I obviously think so, and I'm really saddened by the fact not only to hear the victim, but also to see the kind of pedantic and mechanical approach adopted by the court. Look, you rightly said, okay, even if for a moment the court may be hyper-technical and say that this may not be the right conviction at this point in time under Section 6 and should be Section 4. But even under Section 4, it's 7 to life. The court, what weighed on the shoulders of the court and the mind of the court is that already served 7 years, but with a crime like this, with a history of intimidation, history of victim trying to self-immolate, so much sensationalism around the matter, public faith and trust involved, the court, in my humble opinion, could have seen several other aspects that I think were possibly ignored. The fact that there is an application pending before the court to lead additional evidence, and the court observing that, look, let's trust our police authorities and CRPF authorities to give them protection and protect the evidence that is supposed to come in. I think we can be a little more practical than
Absolutely.
that. We can understand that what has transpired in this matter. Therefore, when the counsel for the victim made these statements that, okay, for a moment you are centering the entire debate around whether this person was a public servant or not, 5P clearly states that you have to be in position of influence or control. And if the court did not find merit in the public servant argument, which rightfully the definition has to be borrowed from IPC and not Prevention of Corruption Act, even then a 5P is a person in influence or control.
Which he clearly was. Which he clearly was as a serving MLA.
Argued by the learned counsel for the complaint. She rightfully said that my counsel argued a lot of other things. Then he said that, look, I'm moving an application before you to lead additional evidence. And why don't you decide the entire appeal and this application together? The court said, no, this may take time. But what prevented the Honorable Court from ordering an expeditious day-to-day trial? So that this evidence is then preserved, the integrity of the entire trial is preserved.
Absolutely.
There is so much history. So we're just being very pedantic about it, and which is what makes me very sorry today.
And, Ellen Rao, it's not just about judiciary, it's also about trust in the police machinery. And if there's one case that has really shaken the trust in police machinery, it's the Unnao rape case. I mean, take, for example, here the victim, the survivor, goes from pillar to post to ensure that an FIR is registered first. FIR is registered without the name of the main culprit, the main accused, because he happens to be someone very powerful. Then her own father is taken into custody, and he's beaten to death in the police custody. And at this point in time, the police saying threat perception alone is not enough. I mean, he's literally serving a sentence for the death of, survivor's father, who was killed on behest of, Kuldeep Singh Sengar. So that's how powerful this man is.
In police custody.
In police custody.
Good evening, Shweta ji, and to all your viewers and co-panelists. Definitely, these are the allegations which have been initially leveled against the non-registration of the police against the police. That case was registered at a later stage, and then threats were not taken care of by that. These are really serious allegations. But I think that when the matter was brought to the notice of the Supreme Court, that this case was transferred from Unnao Court to Delhi East Delhi Court. And I think the proper security was also given to them according to the threat perception. But now this case has been decided, the appeal has been decided by Honorable High Court, 2 judges of Honorable High Court. And then that the order is to be seen between the lines. I think your channel has, I think, analyzed this order. But still that order is to be properly analyzed by CBI, and whatever the lacunas have been found during the trial by the trial judge during in the investigation of this case, definitely these are to be also seen. And if these are found correct, then appropriate action will be taken against the investigating officer and the officials who could not take proper action at the time when this matter was reported in Unnao, and then threats if were given, and after threat, I think this is also one of the fact that her relative or somebody else was killed in a roadside accident, I think so. And in that case also, this case
Two
is
aunts were killed. Father was killed. She was
the
badly
father was
injured.
killed and Sengar is being tried for that case
Exactly.
also. I think yes.
He's been
That in
convicted
fact-
of it, sir. He's been convicted of the custodial death of the father.
In that case, I think 10 years sentence has been announced for that. And in this rape and murder case, I think life imprisonment have been announced. But it all depends upon the judicious mind of the honorable judges. And they might have done it within the parameters of the legal framework. Because of the long incarceration of 7 years, I don't think that in life imprisonment 7 years.
Not long enough, sir.
Very long, very long. It's not. I don't think that 7 years is very long period. That, but still, the judges has applied their judicious mind, and
Right.
that is to be seen. And the Supreme Court, I think, this case is being sent to the Supreme Court for an appeal through an SLP, and we have all to see that what is the mind of the Honorable
But
Supreme
God knows how
Court.
many more months that will take for the court to be heard in Supreme Court.
Point is, Shweta, that this is the reason I gave an example of a of overblown Hindi movie is because if you read the judgment again, the para 16 clearly says and hits out at the which is a trial court observation upheld by the Delhi High Court about the role of the CBI. They said that the kind of investigation the IO has done, it looks like that he has done a completely biased investigation, and he has done an investigation which is in favor of the perpetrator and goes against the investigative against the victim.
Absolutely.
I mean, they cannot be more blatant and clear than this. Then what is CBI doing? And honestly speaking, it baffles me. What is the court doing? Why are they not taking CBI to task? Why, when you write that the IO of the case has not done investigation, and they have said it like it's beyond shadow of doubt that the IO of the case has not done his investigation properly. So then what are they waiting for? If they are so convinced, why is the IO of the CBI not pulled up?
So the entire system, Barkat Rehan, is not working in favor of the survivor.
It's not working.
It's not
Forget in
working
favor
at
of the-
all.
it's
It's
not working at
working
all.
in favor of, in fact, the accused right now. And yet, you think the survivor has any chance of getting justice here?
See, justice by emotions cannot be served. It is justice by law. Suspension of sentence is a legal right, not a acquittal. Yesterday, I also said the same thing. But just now, I was hearing the victim. Pain does not give anyone the right to accuse judges of corruption without proof. Calling judges wicked is a serious contempt. Emotions cannot justify it.
You sound more emotional to me right now than she was.
I really didn't like her saying this. And Rahul
It's not about
Gandhi
what you like, what you don't like, thankfully.
No, it is not done. When you always say that we believe in the judiciary, and at the same time, you keep on taking the book of the judiciary everywhere that hame samvidhan mein pura vishwas, and then every time you overturn it, then that is why I say why
Judiciary is just a part of the Constitution. It's not the entire Constitution.
So out of the way, they are going out of the way to support the victim.
Who's going out of the way?
Who's going?
Who's going out of the way?
This is a political thing which is going on.
Who is going out of the way, madam? Who's going out of the way?
Congress doesn't want justice. They don't want justice. They
Who's talking
only
about
want
Congress? I never.
outrage
We
politics.
are not talking about Congress party, ma'am. We are talking
Yes.
about the survivor. I think you're mistaken. And you're mistaken
No,
for the
I
channel
am
you've joined and
saying
mistaken for the debate you've joined. This is not Congress versus BJP. We are talking
No,
about the survivor
I am
here.
not. No, neither I'm talking about BJP, neither I'm talking about Congress, but Congress going out of the way and they are trying to do the photo op, they are doing all that. So that needs to be
This is
understood.
not Congress bashing.
Please feel free to bash Congress as much as you like, ma'am.
Not right now.
And put it on social media, YouTube, absolutely all right. But this is not about Congress, na? She's asking you a question.
I am
They
specifically talking about the survivor. Nothing to do
Yes.
with the Congress party.
So let's talk about the survivor. So we should help the survivor, and the survivor should not say all this for judges in front of camera. And this survivor, for your kind information, this girl has filed a rape case against Kuldeep Singh Sengar, claims her mother and uncle have taken all the money received from government and NGOs, has filed FIR claiming that she has been thrown out of the house given by government, and her sister is trying to file a false rape case against her husband.
I still don't, I don't see the point in what you're saying, so I'm going to go back to Mayank Arora right now. Mayank,
there are many things.
I still don't see the point in what you're saying. Let me go back to Mayank. Let's talk about the law here. Even if
we only think that the victim is sitting on India Gate, and nobody is helping.
That's her right. I'm going to say this once again.
Which law stops you from sitting at India Gate? Which law stops you from sitting at India Gate? Which law stops you from sitting at India Gate? Is there a law? Is there a law which stops you from sitting at India Gate?
Justice of India Gate, and we have to understand
it's not a matter of justice.
You have to understand. There is no we. You have to understand. There is no law. I don't know. I mean, if you have a personal agenda, then I'm not getting into it. But the point is that is there a law which stops you from sitting at India Gate and protesting?
When did I say there is
you
no
just
law?
said that she's sitting there. Then are you trying to say then the entire case which has been built up, in which Kuldeep Sengar has been given 10 years, is it all being done wrong by the court?
Not given on India Gate or Jantar
You know,
Mantar.
so she,
You have to file an
one
FIR,
second,
you have
she's
to go to the
protesting.
court,
She
you
has
have
the
to
right
go
to
police
protest,
station.
like any other
The
person,
whole-
like any
See, the
individual in this
whole-
country, like any Indian. She has the right to protest, madam. No.
The whole issue has been politicized.
Okay.
Okay.
That is
Perfectly
the
all
crux.
right.
Okay.
That is the main
Yeah.
thing.
All right,
And
let me
that
quickly
is
get
why-
in Mayank Arora in
that
this
is
conversation.
why
Currently, it's not going anywhere, so I'm going to get
Shweta,
Mayank Arora.
many
Mayank, the law
unfortunate
clearly
things
has
have
is
happened
fallen
today.
short here. Would it be right to say the law has fallen short, hasn't delivered the kind of justice it was meant to deliver? And in this case, perhaps it's not just the reading of the law, but it's time now to also relook at POXCO.
What pains me, without subscribing to what that victim said, because she's pained, she's terribly hurt by the system, because this is the same system that made her come and immolate herself, which is the same system that made her sit before India Gate. And what also is unfortunate is that we are politicizing it. The question is that today the court has equated the current matter and followed the principles laid down in Kashmira Singh. Kashmira Singh was a police officer, a sub-inspector who was accused of a custodial violence and custodial murder. Now that to a barbaric act like this, and now comparing the two, not realizing that this matter deserves far more credence, this matter deserves far more faith of the public in the system. The Honorable Court has decided to compare that case and say, no, if we were not to grant this relief to the accused, we would not be following the principles laid down under Kashmira Shah. Now, my difficulty is this is being pedantic at best, this is being mechanically delivering justice. And when you deliver mechanically this kind of justice, obviously what comes out of the victim's mouth is not any imputation against a person or a honorable judge. What comes out is the pain of the public that we all suffer together.
I mean, I'm not a victim here, but I have to give it to the restraint that she showed while speaking to the media. Absolute restraint, a woman who's not blasting the system, she's politely still requesting justice.
I would say, Shweta, I would say, irrespective of what Ms. Trehan is trying to say or trying to interpret here, system has failed this girl and the girl has not failed the system.
That's
The fact that
comes out of the mouth is the view of the system on a common citizen's mind.
it is
On a
like,
victim's
that
mind.
she went to police station, the FIR doesn't mention her name, mention Sengar's name, then she has to go to, the darbar of the chief minister. She attempts self-immolation, then the case comes into limelight, then the Allahabad High Court, and look at the observations of Allahabad High Court, it leaves nothing to doubt. Then the case is shifted because of the immense political pressure that is, the police is working at the behest, the father is picked up on flimsy ground, the father is assaulted, then the father is
And
beaten
killed.
to death in custody of Uttar Pradesh
So
police.
who do you
then
trust?
the case was transferred out of because of the fact that they will not get proper justice. Then the girl, when she was trying to appear before before, a truck hit. Later on, the police investigation also, absolved police or any Kuldeep Singh Sengar from any wrongdoing. It absolved them. 2 of the aunts die. The girl suffers massive injuries. Girls go back. Girls is fighting all alone against a mighty Kuldeep Singh Sengar. The investigation, she is kept on saying that the CBI is siding, the police is siding with the accused. Now, I would just add 10 more seconds. Is she wrong?
No, because the court is also
says,
agreeing to
and
it.
I would like to repeat, the court says that it is an inescapable conclusion that the IO of the CBI did not conduct a fair investigation in the matter, resulting in disadvantage to the case of victim survivor. Do I need to say more than this?
So, going back to the core, the heart of the matter.
Can I add on
Yes.
something?
Okay. 30 seconds.
In Atul Subhash's
Please make
case,
sense. Yes.
In Atul Subhash's case, he said the same, that the whole system sucks. Nobody is helping. Did we have any discussions
Yes.
on that?
Yes, ma'am.
No, we
Yes.
didn't.
I'm not
No,
talk
we
about
didn't.
yourself.
You
We
must
did.
be living under a rock, ma'am. But yeah, if you would have
I'm
gone back at
sorry.
that point of time, it was
I'm-
covered
It's not
very
even about
widely.
men and women.
But
How
yes,
is
you
it
got
about
to
men
stop.
versus women?
The girl got
There is
made
one
in
last point I
20
wanna make.
days. Only 20
Here's
days
a-
the girl
You want to
got
know
made
whether we
and
discussed
the
Atul
whole
Subhash?
family was out.
You want to know
Do
whether
you
we
even
discussed
know the
Atul
credentials
Subhash? We
of the
did.
case?
Extensively
That
did.
young man
We
that
talked about
even
men's
touched
mental
the
health,
necks
but this
of
is not a
men
conversation of men
languishing
versus
in
women.
jail, which are falsely accused. There are lakhs of men languishing in
Shweta,
jail.
there is one
I
more
have
fact that I
seen,
want to
and they are falsely accused. Have we ever thought about them? Just because this
are you
whole
saying?
matter is politicized.
I think she's
That
getting
is
more
why
emotional than
again
the
and
girl she's
again
accusing
we
of getting
are
emotional.
discussing, and we are even doubting the courts, the highest authority.
We have
We are
the
doubting
right
the courts.
to
may I
question.
place a fact
We
with all of
have
you?
the right to question judgments in this country. You're living in a free country. You should thank your luck for that. We have the right to question judgments here. If you were living in any other country around the border, across the border, you may not be able to do so, madam.
Bullied. Democracy dies
Shweta, I
when
must
judges are
also
bullied.
tell all of you
And you
that
guys
in
are bullying them for
2019,
this. Whatever
the punishment
observation.
under Section
The
4
judges have not
also
acquitted
was
Kuldeep
made
Singh
10 to
Sengar.
life rather than
He
7 to
will
life.
be
That's right.
tried.
That's a good point.
He has
Today, the
not
court
been acquitted.
observed that, only 7 years is already served.
Yeah.
How much injustice
So that's
will
also
now
minimum
happen to this
sentence.
person?
In that, under that
Yes.
section, that's also the minimum
And
sentence.
that minimum sentence is also now moved to 10, clearly showing the intent of the legislature to not let such matters fly by. And even then, it was under the constitution of the Honorable Court that we will deem only the minimum sentence as something that we'll consider before we grant the accused this benefit of
Absolutely.
suspension of sentence.
Absolutely.
Which is,
I think
again, something I want to bring out to
expresses,
everyone.
that actually goes on to also show the wisdom with which the court had ordered and come up with this judgment, clearly questionable to a lot of people out there and to the public, as well as we as the free press, as we are, and take a lot of pride in that, Barkat Rayan, to continue questioning the system. That's what we're supposed to do as journalists, by the way.
Yeah,
But
let's do it better.
Are we doing the best of what we can, madam? I can
let's
assure
make
you
the
that.
system better.
Not leaving any
Judicial
stone
reforms,
unturned in doing our
police
duty.
reforms.
I hope you continue to do your duty as a social activist as well.
Police reforms, judicial
But
reforms,
unfortunately-
all the victims.
Unfortunately,
should
that's
get
all the
justice.
time. That's all the time we have on the show. Thank you very much, all of you, for taking time out, for joining us on In Your Interest. We continue to track the latest emerging as far as Unnao rape case is concerned. Kuldeep Singh Sengar is not a free man yet, but his sentence has been cut short by Delhi High Court. And Delhi High Court order also throws the light on the investigation that went behind into those flimsy charges that were brought in that did not sustain the scrutiny of the court, and he is now, at least his life imprisonment has been cut short. The case will now be tried in the Supreme Court in time to come. But that's all the time we have. Thank you very much for watching.